Welcome to the Voice of Vicious podcast. Welcome to the Voice of Vicious. I am your host, Vanny Vicious. Guys, I'm sweating. Look at me on a microphone, bro. What the fuck? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Voice of Vicious podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am your host, Vanny Vicious. We're currently streaming live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So shout out to everyone watching this live. This podcast is available every Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Just search for Voice of Vicious. You can catch us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and on Instagram, Voice of Vicious Podcast. Anything else you guys need to know is listed down below. Today, I am joined by my friend Kira. You guys may recognize her. We've done many photo shoots together back in the day. And Kira is now on the more professional route. She became a licensed professional counselor. So today we're going to talk about some mental health stuff. And also I want to pick her brain about just shit that I've been wondering. So hello, Kira.
Hey.
Welcome.
I haven't been in front of the camera in a long time. I went ghost.
Do you feel weird?
A little bit.
I feel like you're...
I haven't done anything just in like a minute. I'm always like in front of another person, not in front, like, you know what I mean? Even when I do telehealth, I always think it's weird. I'm like, can you just come in the office?
You're like, can we do it over the phone on speaker or something?
Just call me.
I feel weird too doing it through video because normally the person's next to me when I do a podcast, but now I got to figure it out because I have to have people that are not just like in South Florida. You know what I'm saying? So
I think
this is the first video, whatever. What do we even call this? Like video stream podcast? I don't know. But so you were modeling for a little bit when I met you. And what inspired you to become a counselor? Like where did that come from?
Oh, I think when we started really getting close, it was like pre-COVID. And then we were doing fine and we were going out and so on and so forth. And then COVID hit and we were all like at the house or like we were only hanging out, just like the group. And then everything else started opening again. But then I realized that I was getting like a lot of anxiety to go out. Like I didn't want to go out anymore at all. I was just like, I don't why? Why go out? We can just hang out at your house or mine. It's fine. We don't need to see people. And then I started going to counseling myself. And my counselor was so great. She really did help me on a lot of things. And then I was like, I want to do this for other people. And like, I want to be able to help them like move forward like my counselor did. And she gave me a couple schools. She gave me the school that she wanted to, and I applied, and I just got in, and I was like, "Screw it, we're here, we're doing it."
I
finished 2 years of masters.
Fuck yeah! I felt the same way in my health. Like when I started dealing with the health stuff, I'm like, damn, I didn't want to study this now. It's usually how it goes with like
it honestly turns into something that you start doing for yourself, because the school that I went to has very like a holistic approach to things, and that's the reason why I really did thrive on it. They don't usually test you until like it's your exit exam. Everything's like writing essays and talking about it and reading. So you do learn a lot more than if you were just studying for the test. So it was really helpful for me, and
it's like more hands-on learning.
Well, for every time that you get a master's degree and it's like for counseling, you have at your last year, there's 3 semesters that you have to do that are hands-on. So you would do what is called a practicum, and then 2 semesters of internship. And you're supposed to collect like, I think it's like 100 and something hours total of like practicing with other people before they like put you out into the world and like here heal people, help them out. And that was very helpful. That's like doing nursing, and you have to like do like an internship period so that you can really see how it is and see if you
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. What do you enjoy most about it?
Every well, there's two sides to what I do. I really do like dealing with children. I deal mostly with children. I do play therapy, and that's like my favorite thing. It's fun, it's light, it's like you never walk out of a session being like, oh my god. It's always like, oh, those a lot of fun. I was in jail for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Like it was playing the cop or
fun,
something.
really, yeah. It's just it helps the kids, but it's also it's so satisfying. And dealing with adults, you're really trying to help someone figure out that lost their way, how to maneuver through life again, just because they had something happen to them, and all of a sudden everything's about that, and it's anxiety. So you help them process all that information, so that they can move on. The best part about it is when they don't need you anymore and they stop. And they stop. They're like, I'm okay now. And I'm like, awesome. You graduated. Congratulations. We're done. Call me if something ever happens again.
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing ever happens again.
Hopefully not, yeah. Hopefully not. So for those who don't know what play therapy is, can you explain that a little bit? Like, what do you think are the benefits and like the purpose really behind play therapy?
Play therapy it's the best way to treat children. Having them sit on a couch and tell you about their feelings is really silly because they don't know them. And you can be like, oh, so what happened today? And they can be like, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. But when you do it through play, obviously there's selected toys that you have to have. There's like specific things that you have to have because the child will communicate whatever is happening with them through that play. So the toys are the language, and the play are like the composition of the words. So you really have to pay close attention. I mean, sometimes it's really silly, but a lot of the times it's like, oh, they feel like their parents are punishing them a lot, and so I was in jail and they were the parent, so I can tell what their feelings are just from them putting me in jail or cooking for me or making me eat all my veggies, which is always the thing. All of them. All of them. All of your, but this one too? Which one's this one? Broccoli. Yes, you have to eat it. You know, like that kind of stuff. Like it tells me everything that is going on at home without them saying, my parents make me do this.
Yeah.
So that's how a child truly communicates and learns. Same thing when we do like board games or card games. That is the best way for them to learn because I mean, as a kid, nothing should really be that
Serious.
strong. Yeah, it's just questioning them really is just not. It turns out like they start seeing you as as a parent or a teacher, and they don't want to tell you anything.
Yeah, you gotta let them like trust you.
Yeah, even if we do like coloring, like I look at the paintings and I'm like, oh, it's very interesting. You color your mom all red. Like, why'd you do that? And they'll be like, oh, that's because she's angry.
Yeah. I can't wait till you call me one day and you're like, this kid drew a bunch of demons and fucking black.
Like, bro, I've had some like really interesting sessions where I'm like, why did what happened? And then I've had some other ones like, oh my gosh, I really need to help this kid because I think they're trouble.
Yeah.
I think there's something going on.
Do you think it's true? Like, you know how people say that, like, you could always tell who's gonna be a fucking psychopath because when they're little, they like kill lizards and shit. Do you think that's true? Because I used to tie lizards. Maybe I shouldn't say. I used to tie lizards to balloon strings and let the balloons go in the air. And my dad taught me this. Like, my dad was like, "Oh, it's so funny," but in my mind, I never, like, it didn't click that the lizards were gonna die. It was just like, we're gonna send the lizards flying. But do you think it's true that like psychos and like future murder?
Unless it's something like very serious, like you're going out of your way to like explore the animals insides and like ripping them apart and like taking them out piece by piece.
Keeping little trophies under your bed and shit.
Kids are just curious in general. Like they'll ask me like the most weird things, like, "Oh, what's in your cup?" Like, it's probably coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, is it coffee?" Could be like, "No, it's juice." "You drink juice? Like, why do you like?" If they're just curious, they want to understand the world. They want to understand what's really happening in the world because when we think about it, we built everything for big people. We really didn't build things for smaller kiddos.
Yeah.
We didn't. We weren't thinking like, oh, this small child. Well, my favorite story to tell is the toilet when you're potty training them. Like as of recently, there's like tiny potties, but then when you're transitioning them to like a big potty, it's really hard because if you think about it from a kid's point of view, it's like, okay, big thing. Mommy and daddy usually sit in it, and then I know they poop in there, but then if they flush it, then it's gone. So if I do it, but I'm small, I fall through and they flush it, am I gone too? Be gone. I do that. And that's what you see the kids experimenting a lot, like throwing things inside the toilet, like toys and things like that, to see like, oh, well, what's the capacity of this hole of water? Can it really take me? Or is it just poop?
Right. That makes sense. That's kind of funny.
It's hysterical.
So what do you think is like your approach or your style when it comes to counseling?
For play therapy, I still try to always do child play centered. So what that really means is just it's very non-directive. I don't really tell them what to do. I don't really tell them what to talk about. I kind of just let them roam free, and they tell me what they need to tell me or what they feel they're free to tell me. And I do that with adults also. Like forcing information out of people really never turns out well. It's always better to kind of like ask a question or start with an open-ended question and see what comes out. And it's always about like a very humanistic approach, letting people. I always say that people know the answers to whatever is happening. They just can't find the words. So by asking them like open-ended questions, I'm really just letting them explore that out loud with somebody that's there to listen and make them feel heard. And through that process, they really just figure out exactly what the answer was, which they already knew. I was just there to facilitate it.
So that's why my therapist
like CBT stuff, but CBT stuff is just to correct like an already set maladaptive behavior, like one like anger is usually one. Like they're doing that for attention, but there's other ways to get attention. So we'll do some CBT or bibliotherapy so that they know.
Now you have me thinking about my therapist. Every time I have a session, I feel like I don't know what to talk about because she doesn't try to drag those answers out of me. She'll just be like, "How was your weekend?" And I'm like, "This and this and this." And then by the time I know it, the hour's up and I'm like, "What the fuck did I even talk about? She didn't even ask me shit." Like
because it's whatever you want to disclose. at that point. It's whatever you're ready to share. It's whatever came to mind, because that's the only way that you're able to process stuff. Like I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have some people that like write stuff down, and they come in with their notebook and it's like a whole page, and I'm like, oh gosh, like a lot happened. But then when we go through it, it's like 15 minutes. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, you just wanted to remember the details, and then we'll pick one out of those lists that she or him want to process for the session, and we dissect it, we go deeper, we figure out like if there's any root to that action or situation, and you move from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you, how do you feel like how do you like to connect with your clients? But I feel like you just answered that as well, like kind of just letting them have the space and the comfortability to just kind of talk to you about whatever it is that comes up.
Yeah, and a lot of the times is how you present yourself. A lot of people getting into a counseling room, it's hard telling somebody you have no idea anything about, like you just like meeting them for the first time, and you're supposed to tell them like, oh, I had this traumatic experience happen, or I had this thing happen to me when I was a kid. It's hard. So I have a very, I wouldn't say like I have a very chill approach to it. Like I don't like I sit and I don't like I'm not like prim and proper.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, I would be, I mean, obviously you can't be my counselor because we're friends in real life and whatever. If I walked into a room and saw a person that was my age, you know, with tattoos and shit, I'd be like, oh, I can relate. You know what I'm saying? Because when people think like therapy, counseling, you think of like older,
Like with
like,
glasses, like
yeah, or
makeup.
like you kind of automatically assume they're not going to understand you or something. Because I remember like when I was looking for a therapist, I was judging them by their photos. Like what, you know, I was looking at the therapist that my insurance takes or whatever, and I was like, he's not gonna understand me. She looks judgmental. This lady's gonna be like, you do OnlyFans, I gotta go, you know, like whatever. And then, you know, I literally picked my counselor based off of like her face, also reviews, obviously, but I was looking at like their faces and I was like, does this person feel judgmental to me? Yes. Like low key, they're gonna think I'm weird as fuck. Yeah, skip this one, you know. So if I walked into a room, even as a kid, and I'd be like, oh, this lady, like she has colorings all over her arm. That's cool, you know, or like whatever. Like you're dressed chill. You're not in a damn weird skirt suit set or something, you know.
Well, it depends on. It also depends. So it's. I don't know how to explain it. So it depends on where you work. So there's different clinics. A lot of clinics are very chill. The one that I work with is very respected. I'm not gonna say the name. It's very respected, and we do have to dress very professional and very therapisty.
Mhm.
Like sweaters, like we have to wear sweaters and something that's gonna feel homey and comfortable, so that the people when they're coming in, that's also how they're feeling. And every single therapist looks like that, so that it makes the place homey and comfortable. So
Mhm.
it sets the tone. So that's pretty much like how we all dress. Like
Yeah.
you fall seasons, like therapist season, because all the cardigans.
But you're playing with kids, so obviously you're like in pants and stuff. It's not like you can play and be all over the floor with them
Oh
in
no,
a,
I'm always wearing pants and probably sneakies. Like
yeah.
I always have sneakers on. Depending on the day, like sometimes I have like older kids and I know I'm not gonna be like rolling on the floor. So I'll wear my wedges or like some heels or whatever. But most of the time it's definitely like pants and like sneakers and a nice top. And I look like a strong child trying to be big.
What are the types of issues or challenges that you usually help clients with, specifically kids? Like, what are the things you're seeing now with kids? Because I feel like the world that we grew up in is so different from the world that kids are growing up in now that I'm like, like, I don't know if this is true or not, but sometimes when I am scrolling on TikTok, for example, and I see all these young kids talking about their severe anxiety, but then I look and they have 1 million followers on TikTok or whatever, I'm like, maybe if you got the fuck off TikTok and like explored the world and went outside to go sweat and do something active, you wouldn't be so fucking anxious. Like, what are some of the things that you're seeing now with kids or teenagers or adults that you feel like maybe it's kind of having to do with the world we live in now?
Man, it's so the it's always depressive symptoms, anxiety, and maladaptive behaviors, and it usually comes reported from either parents or schools. Um, and doctors are just kind of like sending them to us, like, here, deal with this. Like, we don't.
What do you think it is
So
about?
ADHD is a big one now. Everybody has ADHD now. So like, I have a lot of kids that come in like, oh, the doctor said they have ADHD. Now they have to like learn the tools or whatever. So we do that a lot. Yeah.
Have you studied anything that has to do with the correlation between a bad diet and ADHD?
Not quite, but there is correlation to anything that has to do with what you eat and your mental health.
Yeah.
Obviously, your brain feeds off what you're putting in your body. So if you're just constantly putting junk food in there, chances are that yes, you're gonna develop anxiety. Yes, you're gonna develop depression. Yes, you're gonna develop all these other things that are going to cause you to feel worse. It's like
Sugar.
it's like doing something that you know it's bad for you, but you have really fun doing it. So you're just gonna continue to do it because it feels good in the moment, but then the next day you really don't feel that well. And then it's like drinking, right?
Yeah.
Like while you party, you drink. The next day you're like super hungover, and you're like, "Hey, my life, I'm never gonna do this again." But then the next week comes along, you go out, you start drinking, and you're like, "Oh my god!" And then like it's just a cycle because when you're doing it, it feels good.
Yeah.
And that's what your brain is telling you, but you're not dealing with whatever it's under that's making you do these things.
Yeah. I've been obviously I'm a health freak or whatever, so I study a lot about the gut, and the gut is our second brain, and I have seen a lot of studies where diet is directly linked to anxiety and depression like you said, but also like ADHD, and even as far as like Alzheimer's and shit like that, like depending on what the person ate their entire life and how much detox they did to get rid of toxins throughout their life, because it's fine to eat junk food sometimes, but if you're eating junk food and just sitting on your ass, and you're not sweating that out, you're not detoxing it out, yeah, it could lead to not only mental health disorders but also physical disease as well. So I was curious because like there are a lot of kids who are diagnosed with ADHD, but then I'm like looking at what their parents feed them, and it's like constant pizza and just sugar, shit, and carbs, and I'm just like, well, why don't you try to like not give your kid fucking
No,
Coke?
it works so different with kids when they're being diagnosed so young. But it's a lot of times I feel like they don't deserve the diagnosis.
Yeah.
This kid's just being a kid, man. Like he's hyperactive, yes. So put him to run, put him in sports, put him like do something. I mean, like that's free time for you. All you gotta do is take the kid, and you have like 2 hours showing out. Like instead of like putting them home and expecting them not to run around like maniacs after school made them sit for like 6-7 hours. Like yes, they're gonna run around like maniacs.
And that's what we're saying. Like before, like the difference of kids back then and now is so crazy, because we used to get home from school and go straight outside and like run around and be out until the sun went down. And now kids go home and they're like making TikToks and like gaming and shit. I'm like, no wonder all these kids and teenagers and adults have ADHD. We're like not doing anything out in the world except going to work.
And the social media aspect of that has really impacted the self esteem especially from teens. That's a big thing. I have so many girls that are like, I'm like, she's so pretty with like huge self-esteem issues. Like, well, I don't look like this and I don't look like that. And I have to like talk to them. I'm like, that's just military. Like, nobody looks like that.
It's not real life. Yeah.
Like that.
It's sad.
It's sad. It makes me sad.
Yeah. So if I was gonna book a first session with you, what would I expect in that first session?
First section. First off, I would much rather you have completed your paperwork so I can have some background information. I always do that just because I don't want to ask like questions that can be answered on paper, and I really don't need more detail from it. And that is like a biopsychosocial. Biological, do you have like anything like you list your autoimmune disease in there, you list any previous diagnosis, and then your social, like who's around you, who's your support system, who do you have living with you. And that would give me a big picture of what's really going on. But on our first session, I'll have you sit down. There's usually like a thing of fidget toys. If I see you're nervous, I'm like, there's some fidget toys. You want to play with them? That's fine. You're an adult. Doesn't matter. I'll grab one to make you feel comfortable. My purpose of that first session would be to make you feel as comfortable as possible and ask in-depth questions to see what really is it that you want to that you're seeking from therapy. Like, what do you want from me? It's one of my main questions. Like, what is it that you're here to do, and what do you want from me?
Do you think, oh, well, obviously you think that fidget toys and stuff like that are beneficial because you have them in your office, but do you think like, because obviously I have anxiety, whatever, but somebody the other day was telling me, oh, put a rubber band on, and every time you get anxiety, snap it. Like, just snap the rubber band on your wrist. Do you think little things like that are helpful?
Not for anxiety. That is a helpful trick I actually do teach children and that have the tendency to cut, like that they're cutting. I do that because the snapping of the rubber band mimics that sensation that they initially get when they make the cut. So that's the trick we make them do so that they stop it. The purpose of the rubber band and snapping it to kind of like train your brain a little bit to like have anxiety, make you physically aware of it rather than like staying in your brain. But for anxiety, honestly, it's just fidgeting or like using some cognitive strategies to the anxious thought, because it's just a thought, it's just a worry thought, but we make it bigger. So it would, in order for it to not be as big, we have to make it smaller, and there's like several different things that you can do in order to make that small.
I've also seen like those little necklaces with the tube and you breathe into them.
That's just for deep breathing, because a lot of people find it hard to understand when they're having anxiety. The best thing to do is to slow your heart down instead of letting it beat faster. So instead of like being able to like, so the necklace serves as a reminder. Does not this to like deep breathe. Okay, this is what happens. So instead of, it's the lazy way to deep breathe, I guess.
I don't like that little necklace. I'm like, I'll pass out breathing through a little straw for breathing 5 minutes. I don't know.
And it's slowing down your breathing too. But I don't like those just because I know that when you're deep breathing, it's into your nose and out through your mouth.
Yeah. With that, people are kind of just like the whole time.
Yeah, it's really into your mouth, and like it's just you're doing it backwards. So it's not really like relaxing.
Yeah, I don't like the thought of that little necklace either. I'd probably pass out trying to breathe through that thing. Like, yeah, fucking just lightheaded as fuck. Oh my God. That's hilarious. So how do you like track progress with your clients? Like, what is the yeah, like what's the progress tracking technique, I guess is the word, I don't know. And also, at what point are you starting to be like, oh, they're starting to get it, like this person's gonna leave me soon, they're not gonna need me anymore soon? Like what are some of the things that you see as far as changes within people that you're like, they're on the right track, they're doing well? Because I know like some people don't counseling for a really long time, and some people do it, every week for the rest of their lives or every 2 weeks.
Yeah. I really never want people to stay under my care for too long, because it means that at that point now they have become like dependent on me, and that's like not healthy either. Um, so I am always happy when they leave me. Um, it's bitter. It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Tracking wise, you always have your notes. You're supposed to type those in and turn them in, or you're supposed to keep like personal notes. I always make a checklist of things that I need to check on for the next session to remind me of, like, okay, this was a challenge this week. Let me ask about it this week. Um, with kids, it's just a visual thing. Like, I have some kids that get to their room and immediately tell me all of the rules and all of the boundaries set inside, and then just like run wild, still respecting the boundaries. With adults, is a little bit more of a verbal, and I don't. It's hard to describe it because a lot of the times when you're in it, you can't always see it in the person.
Yeah.
Um, you can see if somebody like it's coming in and they're anxious, they're fidgety, they're shaking, they're doing all this crazy stuff. And then little by little, like maybe you're at 2 months in of one time per week, and now this person sitting down, and instead of fidgeting, they grab the pillow and they just kind of stay still. So now they're becoming comfortable. And now you're already, by just looking at that motion, you're already making progress. This person's already um, becoming aware and understanding the things that they need to do. It obviously varies per person, per client, per kiddo. And then you always have like the self reports.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're in it, they'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if they really want to be there and truly get help, for sure. So aside from like talking to people, obviously, you also pay attention to body language and things like that. Like you'll pay attention to how many times they blink or shift in their posture or whatever. Like, do you pay attention to those kind of things?
Yeah, you have to. You have well, I mean, not as closely as like most people would think, but it is about like, okay, this time the arms weren't crossed. They were like they came a little bit more open, and you'll notice from that session that as soon as their arms were crossed, they were disclosing more information.
Yeah.
And then now they're making progress. This time they weren't biting their nails. This time, instead of sitting in the middle of the couch or on the far end of the couch, they sat on the middle of the couch and they got closer to you, so they're becoming more comfortable. Um, they reached out to you. With kids, it's easier to it's easier to know when you're getting closer and what you're doing is working, because they'll invite you to play with them, because now they're letting you in. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, play, be my patient.
Like, let me arrest you.
I did. I spent 30 minutes arrested yesterday. She actually handcuffed me to the chair and said, sit,
Yeah.
sit there.
So if you have, okay, so obviously, how you said earlier that you can't force answers out of people. What happens when you have a client that will not talk? Like,
That was my favorite.
they just sit there like, and like that's it. Like, how do you
Yeah,
break that? Like, what's
those are my favorite, because silence is so important sometimes. Sometimes people really need to sit on it. And sometimes they want to sit in silence, sit with their thoughts without having to say anything, and that's absolutely okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I will sit there and I would breathe, and then I would say something about silence, and then the person will continue to move on, and I will say something else about silence or the day. I'll make an observation
Mm-hmm.
and then just see who gets more uncomfortable first, man. Somebody's got to talk.
It's
Usually that.
also, it's probably like healing in a way too to just sit in silence. Like imagine like, I don't know, if I was a single mom of fucking, I don't know, 3 kids, and I was always surrounded by loudness and chaos and work and stress and whatever. If you told me you're gonna go to a therapist office or a counselor's office and sit there and you don't have to say shit, I'd be like, good. Like that hour of silence would be so damn appreciated. Like it's still helpful.
It's not. It's just being there. It's just like a lot of people mislead it's just a misleading thought, I guess, of like therapists are there to pick your brain. Not really. We're there to help.
Yeah.
We're there to guide. We're there to facilitate. We're not there to like figure out what are your deepest, darkest secrets. No, if you really just want to come in and just stay silent and talk about why the roses are red, shoot, I'm there for that. Like, I'm here, I'm hearing you. It's the be with attitude. I'm here for you. I'm here to listen.
Yeah. It's kind of just like practicing I don't know, like being in the present moment or something without necessarily.
Mindfulness, yeah.
Yeah. What advice do you have for someone who's considering counseling for the first time? And do you have any tips for people who are considering as far as like making themselves more comfortable or anything like that?
Um, if you're thinking about it and you still haven't done it, man, just do it like Nike. It's gonna be a hard process because not everyone's gonna feel comfortable, and a lot of people go once and they don't go again because they didn't like their therapist.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't like your therapist that one time doesn't mean that every therapist is going to be the same. It's about finding the right therapist, finding the right person for you. It's like spend time really. It's like shopping around for people to listen to you. Um, and you cannot go in being closed-minded to the process.
That's the
If you
thing
go
with
minded,
people who have like people who have whatever issue they're dealing with, whatever mental health issue, and like let's say they're trying counseling or therapy for the first time and they don't like the therapist, like you said, and then they don't go back. Some people, unfortunately, will use that as an excuse, like, oh, you see, therapy's stupid. I don't need it. It was a sign that I don't have to go or whatever. And then they'll just never go get help, you know? But is it safe to say, because in my opinion, I'm not a professional anything, but in my opinion, I believe that everyone can benefit from therapy. Do you think that everyone can benefit from some sort of counseling or just talking to somebody, like just the
absolutely,
general population?
absolutely. Therapists have therapists.
Yeah.
We go to therapy. We need to talk to someone. We always recommend that you see a therapist once a month or whatever you can afford. Really communicate with your therapist. Talk some situation out. Talk whatever thought is in your head. And sometimes we do know all of the answers, but we get really stuck in our head and we never figure it out. So talking it out with somebody else, yeah, go talk it out with somebody else. Go find someone that's gonna be your support system, whether you did something bad or good. Because it's never about like, oh, congratulations, this really good. It's like, oh, you did that. That was interesting. Can you tell me more about that? What made you do that? What were you feeling at that time that you did that? Okay, and then so you find the reasons as to why you did the thing,
Yeah.
and it helps rather than just doing in something terrible that you did for 10 years is not going to do you any good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are some self-care practices that you recommend that anyone can do, like to maintain some kind of mental well-being?
I, I always recommend people take at least 5 minutes before you start doing anything, as in like 5 minutes before you go to work, 5 minutes after work. Take 5 minutes in your car, listening to some calm music or whatever music is going to pump you up. Take some deep breath. Really set the tone for what your day is going to look like. And when you get out of work, remember to do the same, because whatever happened at work, you need to leave that there, because that is work, and now you're going to approach it like your regular life, your civilian life, what you're doing, home, being a wife, being a dad, being a mom. All that takes a lot of energy. So in order to have, like, I always tell the parents, like, in order to have the right hat on, you really need to be able to have your head empty for a little bit. 5 minutes. Always, if you, self-care to me is like understanding that even when things are bad, it's still not always as bad. Take 5 minutes in the morning to appreciate whatever is good. Whether it is sipping a cup of coffee and staring out the window and enjoying your favorite tea, or taking extra 2 minutes in the shower because that's what you're really like. Um, Doing morning meditations, listening to morning meditation. Self-care practices would be definitely not. I recently started doing this. No, that's not true. I've been doing this for a long time. Listening to the black screen meditation sounds for going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I can like really unwind my brain, and like my TV goes black, so I have no blue light. I set my phone as far away as I can so I can still hear the alarm, but it's really not next to me, and I'm not waking up in the middle of the night looking at my phone, because then that'll wake me up. So like setting electronics far away from you when you go to sleep at night, to increase the brain recovery from whatever you had throughout the day, which is probably a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and always doing something for yourself, one good thing, whether it is buying yourself Starbucks or Dunkin', or taking, like, I think I saw the other day that you went to the beach just to like kind of like chill, hang out, just be just yourself. That you need that. Everybody needs that.
Yeah. One of like a couple things that I've been doing for a while, and some new stuff I added recently, is I'm making sure, like, now in the morning when I wake, well, we know I don't wake up in the morning. Now when I wake up in the afternoon, I'm still having a hard time sleeping. So I'm trying to situate my circadian rhythm and shit, whatever. I don't know, if I've always had a hard time sleeping, but when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, like, I'll get up, I'll go pee, and I'll go sit on my balcony, even if it's for like 5 minutes. Like, I get direct sunlight, or even if it's cloudy, like, I just go sit outside, sun in my eyes for the first 5 to 10 minutes of my day, and then I go inside and I start the day. And I feel like that is helpful too. Or like days where, like the other day when I went to the beach, I was like, I need a fucking day, like, to do nothing but things for myself, you know? And I went to the beach, I went to the sauna, like, I just chilled on my own all day without the energy of anybody else, you know, just chilling. I also feel like the sauna is super helpful for mental health. I don't know, like, there's just something.
You're detoxing. Yeah, you're detoxing. You're letting everything that you ate out of your body. The body itself is designed perfectly. Um, if we eat something, we have skin, and the skin has pores, and the pores are meant to like let things out. So if we're not doing anything for that, then everything's staying in. Like, if the body is meant to work so that we maintain our health, both mental and physical.
I'm like literally feeling right now, like how exactly. Well, they're obviously stress reducing. They improve your mood. Okay. They reduce depression, improve sleep quality, increased endorphins, increased brain derived neurotrophic factor. Heat can help increase this, which is a chemical that repairs damaged brain cells and stimulates the growth of new ones. And obviously improves blood circulation. Yeah, man, I swear by the sauna. I do that shit every day. If I don't go to the sauna every day, I feel weird. Like I didn't do anything. Like
I'm gonna go around here. Well, there's not a lot, but I'm gonna find one.
Yeah, I mean, if you find like an LA Fitness or something, like they for sure have, or like a big. Yeah.
In the South. We
LA Fitness?
Huh?
There's no LA Fitness gyms over there?
Oh man.
There has to be.
Nope. Not around here. There's one in like 2 hours away.
Okay, well it gets cold there, so there has to be saunas somewhere.
I'm gonna see if our local tiny gym.
Like sometimes even if I don't go work out, I just go sit in the sauna. Like if I know if I'm like, oh, I don't want to train today, I at least go 20 minutes in the sauna. And I'll show up in the gym in like pajamas and flip-flops. Like, because I'm just going straight in there.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that means I'll sweat. If I sweat, then it means I have to wash my hair.
No, you pick up your hair, good
30 minutes
routine. Get a good dry shampoo. That's it. And pick up your hair all the way up. So it's not like all on your neck and shit.
Oh,
the sauna is like my, I don't know.
I'm gonna try it. It's
great. At night, it's really nice because it kind of makes you a little tired. So it like really helps you relax.
I don't need to be tired at night. I'm tired at 8 o'clock at night immediately.
I know you're asleep by like 9 p.m. I can't sleep after that.
9 p.m. My body's just like,
It's tired.
4 a.m. I feel like it's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You wake up at 4 a.m. and you're in bed by 9, which I wish I had that schedule. I wake up at 11 a.m. and I don't go to sleep till 2 a.m., 3.
That to me, I couldn't do it. You gotta remember, for me, it's always been about in the morning because there's a couple things that happen in the morning that a lot of people that wake up not at 4 a.m. don't see. One, everybody else is asleep. There's nothing happening.
Yeah.
You're not getting text messages. You're not getting phone calls. You're not getting ads. You're not even getting emails because them things don't turn on until like 6, 7 a.m. in the morning for all the auto feeds start going. There's nothing happening. That is the best time to take for yourself and do whatever it is that you need to do. Because by the time that everybody's waking up at 6 or at 7, I'm already like, I've had already like 3 hours more in my day. And I'm already way ahead. Yeah. So by 9 p.m., when everybody's coming out to drink, when everybody's trying to rush everywhere, when everybody's trying to do everything that they couldn't do, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm ready. I'm ready for that.
The times that I actually wake up early, like if I have something to do that's like super important in the morning and I have to be up by 7 or whatever, doctor's appointment, let's just say, and I finish everything I have to do by like 9 a.m. I'm like, whoa, I have the whole fucking day. Like I already worked out. I already did this. I already did this. Like, holy shit. And I honestly, I wish I could sleep different hours, but I don't know what it is. I get in bed. I could throw my phone into the street and still not be able to sleep. It has nothing to even do with my phone. So I don't know. I'm figuring it out.
I always say like schedule like a nice bedtime routine where there is like going to the sauna, getting home, doing a facial, putting meditation music on, turning off all the lights, making sure everything's super, putting in like I found this really cool thing that like it puts stars on my ceiling. You put that at night. Music and then or like little like it's really cool. I actually like it. It's like hypnotizing to be honest with you. Like
yeah. You know what I just ordered? Actually, I'm really excited about it. It gets here on Monday. A grounding mat. Have you heard of these things?
Mm.
So it's a mat, and you put it under your bed sheet, like under the fitted sheet, and you
Mm-hmm.
sleep on it, and you plug it in to the wall, and it's the electricity from the earth goes through it. So you're literally grounding as you sleep, and it's the equivalent of like standing outside on grass, like you know how we're supposed to ground out in nature. So these mats, I'll send you the link. It's the equivalent of that while you're sleeping.
Send me the link. I'm sorry. That sounds good, man. I'll be waking up like I don't sleep.
I
I
was
wake up and I'm so tired, but I'm also doing my fizzy thing, so it doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't matter how much I sleep.
I
My
mean,
brain's like,
I'm hoping that this shit helps me because I need something like electrocute my ass to sleep. I don't know, but I was looking it up. Um, so they sell them in miniature versions. So like if you're sitting at a desk for a long time, you can put it on the floor and keep your feet on it while you're working, or you can put it like on your desk. So like when your hands are on your computer, it's like on your arms, or you get the whole bed mat or the bed sheet or whatever. But the benefits of this, like they have graphs and everything showing the before and after, and it's say prior to whatever the changes in like circulation and things like that, like in the body, even after like 2 nights of using it, are really, really different. Like, I'll show you.
I'm interested to know um how it affects the parasympathetic system.
Look at this. Before, all that red
Mhm.
is like blood. This is after, like better circulation after 4 days. But it says improves cognitive function, eliminates or substantially reduces inflammation, eliminates or substantially reduces pain, improves blood flow. It has a normalizing effect on cortisol, a calming effect on the nervous system, improves glucose regulation, prevents calcium and bone density loss, reduces indicators of osteoporosis, it increases your metabolic rate, it influences your thyroid gland function, reduces muscle damage, accelerates recovery from exercise, improves the immune system response to trauma and injuries, anti-aging effects. Like it's crazy. And this whole thing, I'll send it to you. Or if anyone wants to check it out, it's earthingharmony.com. They have all the information on it or whatever. I cannot wait. I also ordered an infrared light. It also gets here Monday. So I'm gonna be
Hopefully,
I
we can do the 5 a.m. club routine.
I might. I might just
That's
start
really
sleeping so damn good and just being so fucking relaxed that I might be texting you at 4 a.m. like, good morning, sunshine.
to you.
So I had 2 more questions for you. These are a little less, professional, but it's something that I need to know. So I want the question is, why are people so delusional? But let me explain why I want to ask this. And let me tell you the dilemma that I'm having. So you know me personally, so you know that I'm not a friendly person, right? Like I'm not normally talkative or whatever. My issue is this. Sometimes people approach me to have a conversation in whatever setting about whatever topic, right? This happens to me a lot at the gym. So let's say I'm working out, I have my headphones in, I'm doing something, and someone will approach me and I see their mouth moving, but I can't hear what they're saying because I have music in my ears. So it always goes like this. I look at them, I take out one AirPod and I go, "What?" And then they say, "Nice tattoos," or whatever. And I go, "Thanks." And I put my AirPod back in and I continue my workout because in my mind, I've always been the type of person that I'm like, I don't want to give this individual any false sense of anything, like that I'm interested in any way in them or whatever. So I just say thank you, AirPod back in my ear, continue what I'm doing. No need to continue this conversation. I don't need new friends. I don't need male friends, whatever. Right. So when I do that, they're usually like, bitch, like whatever, right? I could tell that they're not happy that they didn't get the response they expected from me. But then On the other hand, if I'm nice, so if someone says nice tattoos and I say thank you, yours as well, because they might have tattoos as well or something, and then the conversation continues, right, on some basic shit, like how long have you been coming here? Oh, 2 years. Okay, cool, nice to meet you, and then that's it, right? Then they start hitting on me after that. So like I can't ever find a balance between fuck off, don't talk to me, and trust me, nothing's ever going to happen. And then it always gets to this point where I have to be eventually rude because, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to eventually be rude because the person doesn't get it that I'm not interested, even though I'm not giving any signs that I am. And then eventually I have to be like, bro, I'm not interested. And then they get mad about it. Like, where is that delusion with people where, like, they truly believe, where does it come from that they truly believe they have a fucking chance in hell? And it could be like, no offense, people, but it could be like a 70-year-old fat man, like huge, obese, let's just say. And I'm nice to him because, pobrecito, he was nice to me. He held the door for me. So I said, thanks, whatever. And then the man starts hitting on me. And in my mind, I'm like, sir, we're like 20, 30 years apart. Why would you think that there's ever a chance in hell? Like, where do you get the balls? I want to know, where do they get the balls? And how, where the fuck does that delusion come from? Like, do you think that's an overly confident thing that people have? Because I don't have that shit, bro. Like, I cannot just approach someone who I know for sure is way out of my league and just be like, got that. Like, where the fuck does that come from? The delusion like that.
It's just it doesn't come from.
Is it confidence?
It doesn't come from anywhere. It's just a matter of like being self-aware, of having some awareness. A lot of people are not aware. They just see one thing and that is it. They don't see like, oh, that girl was nice to talk to. She's really cool. It's like, oh, she spoke to me. That must mean something. I don't know what it means, but it must mean something. So I'm going to continue to do it because she was nice to me that one time, and I want to see where it goes. But when when you're not nice to them and you break that cycle, that door that you had like somehow cracked for conversation for them, then just like, oh, she's such a bee, like whatever. She wasn't even all that. Because now you've crushed something that they have built up themselves. So it's like, you know how like bad things happen to everyone, right? Yeah, you know how bad things happen to everyone. But like when, for example, somebody tells you about something bad that happened to them, and you're like, oh, that wasn't even that bad. But to that person, that was the worst thing that had ever happened. And it was like, how could you not think that this was the worst thing that has ever happened in the entire existence of the planet? That's because it's about perception and how perceiving it, right? Yeah. To me, that was the worst thing that ever happened to me. To you, you've been through worse. You know worse. Therefore, whatever you're seeing, it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
If something bad happens, it's about perception, and I don't, just they perceive it as a chance to. Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a chance because you're nice, but I feel like there is always a medium to finding things. First off, like you really have like the don't fuck with me kind of phase on, like I would say like 80% of the time, unless you're hanging out with your friends, it's just like I can see the faces like they're looking at you and you're like like what do you want? Like, do you want me to punch you in the face?
Yep, pretty much.
Is that where you're looking in my direction? That's all right. Just having flashbacks when we used to go out and like that.
Especially when I'm in the gym. I'm like focused in here.
like, you just don't mess with me. But there's a medium where it's just there's a like, oh hi, thank you, this is nice. All right, well yeah, I gotta go meeting, and there's hints that you can give a meeting a friend for lunch, so I gotta whatever, and then that's it. And then in their mind, they don't. They also it's about perception. In their mind, they don't know what kind of friend this could be. May that you're going to lunch with, but in their head, that's something else.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have eliminated that option already for them, and then it's done. I mean, for me, it's just I just have to flaunt my hand a little bit, and I'm like, no, I'm totally married.
I just don't understand how
they can be friends.
So my last question is, have you heard of Wade Wilson, the murderer? He's like currently very popular on TikTok.
Am I that lost? When did this happen?
So it happened 5 years ago.
Don't you have TikTok?
Yeah. Okay. So it happened 5 years ago. Okay. He murdered 2 women at the time, allegedly. And long story short, he's now in prison on death row. Right? He obviously, whatever, was found guilty. And in between the time of him getting arrested and being in jail for the 5 years, and now that he's in prison, he has gained so many fans because he's hot. Like, very hot. Like my type. Like, as we know, the delinquents are my type. But he has like face tattoos. He's like 6'4". He's super hot.
That was gonna be my
But he's gained a lot of followers, and throughout these years, a lot of people think he's innocent because at one point he started saying that he was set up and that he's eventually going to prove he was set up by this like sex trafficking ring that he was a part of and all this crazy shit. This happened in Florida in Cape Coral. So, not far up north or whatever. Anyway, now that he's on death row in prison, he still has all these fans and whatever. So he has like a team of girls that run his like TikTok page, which is just basically updates about him. So they talk to him from prison and whatever. These people have raised like $90,000 for this man to try to get him a new lawyer to appeal the death penalty and to have a retrial, because supposedly he has all this evidence to prove that he's innocent or whatever. So a bunch of phone calls from him, because obviously it's public information. My question is, I just wanted to give you the backstory on who he is, but my question is, what makes women so obsessed with serial killers and murderers? Because bro, it's sick. Like there'll be a video of him saying the most grotesque shit ever on the phone or whatever, like a leaked call. And women are like so fucking delusional that they're like, it doesn't even sound like him. It can't be him. It doesn't sound like him on this call. His voice is different. Like the excuses that they make for this man. Don't get me wrong. I think he's hot as shit too, but I'm not stupid. I've seen, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever. But anyways, what is it about serial killers and murderers and just like bad people in general that certain women are just that attracted to? Like, what do you think that is?
It's not the serial killer. It's just how they present themselves. It's how they present themselves and how they talk to these women. Women, we like to be praised, encouraged, catered to, be talked to nice. We like to feel a certain way, right? And this type of people, they know how to do that. I mean, remember Tim Bundy?
Yeah.
Bundy was a charmer. I mean, a charmer. That this man got the social skills that we wish half the man would have in this society now. He knew how to do like he knew how to lure them in. He knew how to perceive, like put himself as non-threatening, how to make the women like it was crazy. It was
Yeah.
insane, and that is what happened because we've lost so much in society now that these people that have those abilities and those skills are gaining the the wrong kind of attention, but also the right kind of attention.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense. So they're getting all the attention from the women because now we're actually seeing what these women are craving. It's a wrong kind of attention because obviously this person killed somebody, two people, but he's still getting all the attention because that's what women are craving and we're not seeing it. Therefore, this person that it has those abilities, it's luring them in. And then there's also like weak-minded people who would believe anything that you present in front of them. I could see like this cup is made of like gold on the inside. I covered it up so nobody could see it, and then people will be like, "Oh wow, that's so cool." I'm like, "Why would you even believe? Why would I have a gold cup covered like that? Where's the common sense in that? It's not common anymore, really. Come on." So that's a whole thing, right? So we're like we've been eaten. Our brain is currently like dormant. It's sleeping because we've just been watching TikTok, Instagrams, and Reels, and all of these things. I don't pick up my phone. You know this. I sometimes don't text you back. I see the text and I'm like, I got that, and then I just don't pick up my phone again, and then I'm done with it because I'm not watching all these things that are occupying my time when I know I have so much other stuff to do, when I know that half the stuff that I'm going to watch is just to make me spend my time on the wrong kind of things.
Yeah.
And that's what people are watching. They have nothing else to do. Like, find something else to do, people. Really.
It's fucking crazy too
Especially
because
women. Like, come on, man. You can do this. You're better than this.
it's really crazy too because like, okay, you and I are tattooed people, right? And I've had tattoos my whole fucking life and whatever. And the type of women that like him are so proper looking. And this man, let me show you. Let
Prim and proper.
me see. I'm pretty sure I could
Well,
upload.
you gotta. There's so many cultural factors that influence their life, and then you send them off to college without any parent supervision.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they're going to do? They're going to go wild. So all these women that have always been prim and proper, and they have this attention from this man that's definitely not prim and proper, but is giving them all the attention in the world. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to go wild for him.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've always wanted or desired, or that they found curiosity in, but has never been able to explore that. And there's also like I'm sure there's like way deeper issues,
It's just so weird. Oh, look, I can share my screen. Let's see. I don't even know how to do this. I had figured it out the other day too. I figured out a way to like insert photos and shit, and now I can't do it. Whatever. I'll show you a picture of him. Oh wait, what's this? Add an item. No, what the fuck is this? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing around now with this shit. I gotta figure it out, but I know that there's a way to like insert some kind of like image. How do I do it? Yeah, there. I don't know. Anyway, damn it! Now I really want to figure it out. Present music. Virtual. No. There's a way, but I don't really want to figure it out on this live. Slides, is it this? Nope. No, it only lets
Do
me do
you
like,
see all of the like comments or the things?
yeah. Someone's like, I feel like Vanny
Oh, I
talks
don't know
about,
what you did. You're kind of freezy there. No.
huh? The what?
You froze for a second, I guess, when you switched whatever you were
Oh,
doing.
yeah. Someone
I
said, I
said
feel
it
like,
seemed like you froze for a second when you switched whatever you were doing.
mm. Somebody said, I feel like Vanny talks about the same thing every time she's live. And they said that when,
Yeah.
can you see it on the screen? They said that when I was talking about mental health and diet. Like, I'm sorry for being passionate about something.
I think that, yeah.
You think?
I think they said that when you were talking about food,
Yeah, whatever.
like being healthy.
Food saved my life. I'm never gonna not talk about it.
Maybe I feel like people can try it. If they don't try it, they won't know it. But
Yeah,
you know, it's not. You start taking care of yourself and your body, and you're gonna react way differently to a lot of things.
100%.
A lot.
And I feel like people that are at least curious about getting healthier, if I talk about it, they're more open to like listening at least. Like they don't have to take my advice, but they can at least listen. People who say like, oh, you're always talking about this are people who just don't care about their health. Because like if I come across a video of somebody talking about certain shit that I know can maybe help me, I'll stop and listen. Whether or not I take the advice is different. But I feel like when people are so quick to be like, she's always talking about the same shit, like you're not listening to what I'm saying. Otherwise, you'd be more interested, you know what I'm saying? Like in bettering yourself or whatever. But
The thing about what or like have a better input to say like, oh, I've tried that before. It didn't really work for me. I mean, it does not everything that's always being said works for everyone. We're humans and we're different. Each and every one of us is different, and not everything works for us the same way. That's why in therapy there's so many different techniques. Like let's say I use DBT for somebody and all of a sudden that person's not reacting to the DBT, then I need to try CBT or some other like EFT or whatever other technique I need in order to make that person make the connection that I'm trying to make them see or help them see.
yeah.
But not like I can't treat everybody the same. That's insane. Like talking about you can't even talk about the same things. You can't even apply the techniques the same way.
Yeah. It's I mean I feel that's it's with everything. Anything that has to do with like
Be people,
health.
man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm done annoying you for the day, Kira.
Some people want to be healthy. People are not ready.
But thank you for doing this. I appreciate you very much.
No,
And I love you very much.
not a problem. I'm always happy to share my knowledge and counseling skill. And and then the next year when I complete my second MBA, you can interview me about business management, man.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. This girl's always studying. But thank you
like
guys.
a business owner. What can we do?
Thank you guys all for tuning in today. I appreciate all of you. I'll tag Kira in the video as I tag everybody, so you guys could go give her a follow on Instagram and stuff if you'd like. And that's it. That's it for today. I love you guys. Have a good week. Bye. Say bye, Kira.
Bye-bye.